So now we made our virtual assistant to greet us whenever we say how are you, it is telling good and doing well, it is greeting us, and we have asked time, it is responding with the time. Now let's try to import you. We just try to make our virtual assistant send an email, open a web browser, and just scrape the data from the web. So what we'll do is we'll install one more package which is very important when you just try to pull the data from the web. That is basically we just need to go for beautiful soup pip, right? So this is very important where we just try to pull the data from the web. Beautiful soup is a very important library to scrape information from the web pages, right? So that's where we'll use this along with our request module, because request is already present. When you go for pip freeze, you can see the libraries which is already installed. So with this, what we'll do is we'll install beautiful soup, because clearly it is showing you pip install beautiful soup is the extension. You just need to give the version, particular version is pip install beautiful soup 4, because let's install all the libraries at a time and we'll try to work on it at the end, because we have already have requests. We need to just fetch the data from the web by using request. Web browser is already default. So first install, let's install pip install beautiful soup 4. See, it will tell you collecting. If it is already existing, you get something. So once you give pip list or pip freeze, you can see list of all libraries here. Now we'll use this to make it work. Let's import all the libraries in the beginning itself. So I'll go to my starting position where I have just imported. So first let's import RE, because we'll be making our virtual assistant to open a web page, but it should search, right? So for that using reason, we'll be using regular expression, because regular expressions library is it's a module very important where you just try to find or search the relevant string. Then automatically we'll use request, which is already present, to connect to a web page. And we'll be using web browser, which is already present in our default Python version, so that our browser should be particularly enabled. So web browser is for opening the web page, and whatever we have installed recently, it is beautiful soup 4, that is BS4. Then finally, our ultimate task is to send an email, right? Where you will be using our SMTP library, that is Simple Mail Transfer Protocol. Once we just finish the opening web page, we'll just work on it. So because it is already default present in it, we already have email package in Python. We'll be using SMTP library, so that we'll make our Python program to send an email, that is Simple Mail Transfer Protocol or Secure Mail. People use anything. Transfer protocol, because how do you send an email? Generally you send it by opening your Gmail, logging into your Gmail, and you just click on compose, you give to, you write your subject, you give your body, you do the process, right? But SMTP library in turn, in that will mention our protocols, that Gmail SMTP port address and port ID. We'll give our username and password over there. So you can work by giving your username and password, but not sending to multiple people. For that, we need to go for bulk mail. That is, you need to go with Amazon ECS, which is very cheaper, where you just need to explore it. But this is a very simple way. So first, let's start writing our conditions. So first, I'll make sure that if I tell open Google, my browser, my virtual assistant should start opening the web browser. But before that, what we should do, we should write a particular condition, right? So data dot casefold, because casefold is conversion into lower string format. So that what it should do, it should just go for listening is equal to true. This is common, but where you give the logic, it is different, because in the above cases, respond is C time. So whenever we say what is the time now, we are able to get the present time. Whenever we say, hey, how are you? We are able to see. But now whenever we say open Google, it should open the web browser, right? So first it should search. That's where we have clearly worked on understanding regular expression. We'll use the logic here. The regular expression searching factor is how it should search. re.search of what is a web page. We are just making it to open Google. This is our pattern. So with the pattern, we can make it to add some more matching with the meta character, that is star, that is matching single letter or more than single letters, 0 or more. That's what it is. If it's single letter, it will expand. What is our string? The string is the data. So this is the searching pattern we gave, and obviously should give the URL, right? What is the URL of Google? So when you open Google, so what? When you open google.com, this is the URL, right? So this copy the URL and paste it. So URL is equal to, just paste it within this, within the quotation, automatically HTTPS, that is hypertext transfer protocol, that is a secure layer. So it will always have its HTTPS, whatever website, it's fine. Now it should open, right? So whenever we are using search, we have just used one more thing, that is we have grouped it, right? Yes, now we'll follow the same factor. If we got the search pattern, what is the search pattern? Google. If I tell, hey, open Google, then it should open the Google, right? So I'll just give the substitution is equal to reg underscore x dot group it according to the given open Google structure. Then automatically our URL should be added, because if you have any other extensions, we are making sure that that string should be read without any mistake, because the slash, the backward slash is for the URLs extension. So we just mentioned that. Now if everything is fine, we should come out of the condition and our web browser should be enabled, because here clearly observe it will open with your default web browser. You can't expect Google to be default web browser, right? Most of the people will make Bing as their default web browser because you are using latest Microsoft version, Windows version. So automatically you can see your Bing is being opened with the Google. So finally I'll respond it as true. Once it is done, you should see the result as done. That means whenever you say open Google, it should search with the given pattern. That is, star is nothing but single letter also it will take, but plus it should have more than one letter. That is the main difference. We have given the URL and we are just grouping it. Once we have just grouped it, we are telling it to open the web browser. That's where dot open function will be used to fetch the result. Right? Now excited, right, to see whether it is working or not? For sure it will be working. So that means whenever we execute this code, it will automatically open a web browser. Let's go for that. I'll open my command prompt where my environment is running. In the meanwhile, I'll just enable my volume also. So I'll write Python. What is my file name? va.py. There you go. When I enter this, it will start asking me. When it says I am listening, I'll tell open Google. Then automatically a web browser will be open. Let's see that. Hey, Saket, see? Open Google. There you go. See, automatically it gave you the web browser. See, clearly whatever we have searched for that, you can see automatically it has given you the web browser. That is how open Google, it is clearly done. So in the same way, it will be with your default web browser. You can just check this. Simple, we have given open Google, we gave it dot search, we are telling the specific URL to be enabled. So this is the simple function. The next thing is, we'll just make it to send an email. That means if we give email, if you tell send me an email, then it should listen, it should respond. We write this thing, but when we write the entire syntax, we should make that email to be logged in, right? So for that, we'll be using this SMTP library. So we'll be using SMTP library because it is simple mail transfer protocol. This is very, very important when you just connect it to it. SMTP library, when you go for Gmail settings, then automatically it will give you the port address and the port ID. The port address will be different settings. SMTP Gmail, it will give you the Gmail settings where you can just refer it into the, if you can just refer with the SMTP Gmail settings, because it will just throw you the SMTP Gmail IP or SMTP Gmail port address, which will give you directly SMTP Gmail port address, because we should know these port addresses, then only we can see. We use 587 and the SMTP address is smtp.gmail.com. So for that, we'll be using it. We'll be just doing it very clearly with the help of request module. So first, let's go for that. Meanwhile, I'll just unmute it. So I'll just go for if we are having email. If we are having email in our data, how will it send? Until and unless we give some permissions, I'll tell what to do. Just make sure once you have written the code, we'll be just going for that, because we'll make our virtual assistant to perform continuous task. It is just doing only one task. right? If you are asking time, it is telling time. If you are telling open Google, the program is shut over there, but will make it to perform continuously. If we are having email in data, the listening is equal to true, and we'll just make it to respond. So first it will respond, whom should I send email to? We are asking it, whom should I send email to? That means your virtual assistant will ask. First, we'll write all the structure which we are trying to give. So, we'll make it to give the function call of listen. That means we should speak, it should listen, right? There, I'll create a dictionary. That means I can give multiple persons' names. Instead of telling the entire email ID, what we can do is, we can just tell the keys. That keys should be correct. That means, that is edict is equal to, that's a dictionary. That means, if I want to send to this particular person, that is hello, I'll write the person mail ID. You can mention your friend's mail IDs here. That's up to you. So if I say hello, that means I'm making sure that I'll send the email to this particular person. Then if I give something like just, that is a key, and you can mention your another email ID also, whatever you just wanted to give. Just make sure you can give your email IDs here. You can make sure you write the dictionary completely and you can just execute it. It's up to you. So how many mail IDs you want, right? You can just mention in the dictionary itself. It's up to you. So here, hello is the first person email ID. Just is another person email ID. And we are making that to address. So to address is equal to, we are just giving the key of the dictionary. So that's where we just make it edict of 2. That means whatever we speak, if I say hello, that key should be fetched and this value will be taken here. It's good. Now, again it will ask us what it is responding. It will again ask us what is the subject. It will clearly follow the conversation. It will ask us what is the subject again. Again, you should try to respond. Again, we just make it subject is listening. Everything, we just need to call the listen function again. So subject is equal to listen. There you go. Again, what it should respond. So if you gave subject, it is fine. Then again, it will ask you, what should I tell the person? What should I tell that person? There you go. Again, you can make it customized. You can write your own strings over there. Again, the subject is listening and respond. What should I tell? And this is nothing but message. So message is equal to, message is subject is listening and again it is responding, and again I'm giving message is equal to listen. So clearly first thing we gave email IDs, then we are fetching through the keys and we are making what is the subject, again listening. And here now what we'll do is we'll make the subject and the message clearly, we'll follow it into the content. So content is equal to, so this is the subject. So subject we'll just making into subject of, you just write the string, right? So how do you fetch this? You know the print format, right? We use the dot format function here. So that I'll give /n so that you can clearly see line by line. It's up to you how do you write the print format. I just give dot format of, the first is subject. What is subject here? Whatever you give. What is message here? Whatever the message you speak. That's fine. So this is how the core logic we give. But how does this will perform? Until and unless you enable the Gmail SMTP settings. That's what I have told you. The port address is 587 and the Gmail port ID is smtp.gmail.com. The Gmail port ID is smtp.gmail.com. The Gmail port number is 587 and the port ID will be smtp.gmail.com. You can just fetch that. See, smtp.gmail.com. That is for any Gmail user, only Gmail user. For other mails, it is different and they will not allow us. But when you are doing this, the first thing we need to do is we need to make sure you allow the less secure apps. That is very, very important. So once make sure that you log in with it, less secure apps. You just log in with your Gmail, then go to you just type less secure apps, sign in Google accounts. This will be automatically off. You can do in two ways. First thing is you enable your less secure app access. Once you enable this, you can give your Gmail username and password. Then automatically you can see you can see the mail being sent from your email ID. You are accessing the permissions. You can see here some apps and devices use less secure. That is how whenever you sign in through any other device, Google will send you an alert. In the same way, this will send an alert. So enable this. Once you have enabled it, automatically you will see a critical alert to your email. It's fine because you are giving permission to it. Now clearly we have given, we'll initialize the SMTP settings. We are initializing Gmail simple mail transfer protocol settings. So I'll just give mail is equal to, this is where I use SMTP library. SMTP library dot simple mail transfer protocol. What is the port ID we have mentioned? The port ID is smtp.gmail.com. This is common and the transport layer is 587. This should be mandatory because once we initialize the settings only, that's how the things are going. Because in the general Gmail, what do? You click on compose and you enter all of those. That is the interactive way which you do. So here it identifies the servers, that is it is initializing with the help of hello function. So identify the server. So here for that it will take mail.ehlo, that is extended hello, that means we are identifying the server, and we start the transport layer, that is start TLS. So this is where we are making sure that we should give here our login credentials. That's where you just do it. So here our login credentials, that means your login, not the other people login. Just keep it very careful because you have enabled your Gmail less secure apps. So make sure you give your user ID here. You give your user ID and you enable your password. Make sure that you give it correctly, only yours, because again Google will make sure that you follow the different things over here. Or you can generate your app password. You can do it in two ways. So make sure you give your username, Gmail user ID and password. That is, give your mail ID and password, or else you can give your generate your app passcode. You can do it in two ways. You can go to Google and ask generate app password. It will clearly guide you how to do it. Generate app password. You can follow these settings and you can generate it by mentioning here. You can give your username, that is Gmail ID, along with password. If you want to give password, you can give password. If you can also generate your app passcode, that is 16 digit. It's up to you because Google will tell you that is a 16 digit passcode where you can automatically see you can follow these steps and it will generate you app password. That is mandatory when you are just working on it. So that is how we'll just make it. First we are logged in, and once we are logged in, we can clearly make it to send an email, right? So I'll just tell mail dot send email of from and to, right? So what we'll do, we are just making sure that once we are logged in here, we generally give our sender mail address, to address and the content. So what is the sender mail address? This is the sender mail address. We are just making sure that we have logged in, and you can create a variable also, it's up to you. And then once we are logged in, what is the to address? We just give the to address and we generally give the content, because content is basically having the subject and message. So finally close the connection. That means you are logging out. So close the connection. If everything is correct, what it should respond? It should respond it as mail sent. There you go. It should respond it as email sent. Now I have enabled the passcode and I'll tell the mail should be sent to hello person, so that I can show you, because that's where I can just give the email ID. So once I have enabled it, let me just execute from the browser, from the command prompt. So I'll enable my speaker. So I'll just give Python. What is our file name? va.py. Let me execute this.
Hey Saket, how are you?
Send me an email.
Whom should I send email to?
Hello.
What is the subject?
Emergency.
What should I tell that person?
We need to meet.
Email sent.
There you go. See, once you see this process, once you see email sent, that means particularly this is the subject, I am listening, and this is the message we give, we need to meet, and the email has been sent. You can just check it. I'll show it from my end. I'll just show how does that has been happened. You can see in the inbox of the email which you can for which person you have sent. See critical alert, and that means whenever you access the passcode you can see it. And once we refresh the web page, because I just gave it, I just made it to send an email, right? I just made it to send an email, so automatically you could find the email. So if you don't found it, just refresh the web page. For sure you can see that mail has been sent to the person you have given. So if you just not found it, you can just make it done, because here which has done email send, because I have just made it to hello, because hello is nothing but this is the particular email ID I gave, and I'll try to show it here, because once I can show it here, you can understand. Even you can check it in your send box also. Let me show in my send box. There you go. You can see in your send box also, you can see the particular email ID. See, emergency, because I have sent, that is my mail ID only, no? So that is the reason you can see the subject, and that is the subject, and this is the message. You can clearly see what is the message and how does that has been treated. So that is how you can even send an email by using SMTP library. So that is how whatever mail IDs you can give, you can send it to that person. So just make sure you allow the settings, and automatically it will be sent to the particular person. So now we'll just do one more task. How can we just try to scrape the data from the web, and we'll make everything to be performed at a time. That means we'll just try to scrape the data from the web, so that if we just try to open Wikipedia and scrape the data from the web, it should do it. Otherwise it should not it should not make sure that whenever we send email, it should send an email. If we tell it to send open Wikipedia, it should open Wikipedia. For that, I'll be using Beautiful Soup library, where we just try to scrape the data from the web by giving particular person particular person name. Suppose if I want to search about Virat Kohli, what I'll do, I'll just make sure, I'll just enter his name, right? In the same way, we'll just make sure, but we'll be doing it in a different way. That means we'll open the web browser. Same what we have done for open Google, we'll follow the same way. That's where I'll just make sure, if we are having wiki, that is nothing but, if that means if I'm telling open Wikipedia, if I'm saying open Wikipedia, I can just make sure you can see that, you can just make sure you can see, if it is saying open Wikipedia, that should open the Wikipedia web page. That is what I'm trying to show, because that should scrape the web. That is the final thing we should do, because whenever we say open Wikipedia, it should open the web page. So for that, we'll be using Beautiful Soup. Then make sure you should clearly give that particular Wikipedia page is existing, otherwise it will not open. That's the main thing. So again, same, listening is equal to true, and it should respond. What it should respond? It should tell, what should I search? And then it will just wait for our response, that is query is equal to listen, and then we'll make the response to be used. So how do I just get the response? We'll use our request module here. Request dot, what is the URL? We are trying to open the Wikipedia web page, right? So for that, I'll just show you the Wikipedia. So I'll just give Wikipedia. I'll just open this Wikipedia. So you just give this Wikipedia URL, just wikipedia.org/wiki. Because I opened Wikipedia, you just get the Wikipedia. You just copy till here. You can clearly understand. Now, so here I'll just make this URL, because whenever we are giving request module, we'll connect to that web page. So HTTPS Wikipedia. So here I'll just take the query, because I'll listen from the user, right? That query is whatever Wikipedia web page you want to search. That means, suppose if I want to search about Virat Kohli here, suppose if I give Virat Kohli, I can see the particular Wikipedia web page existing. I'll see the information over here. That's what the same thing will make our web browser to do. That's where I'll give, if response is not existing, that means I need not need everything to be read, right? I'll limit the characters also. If response is not none, what it should do? It should scrape the content from that. That is the reason you'll use beautiful soup. BS4 dot, take the function. What is the function? That is beautiful soup. BS4 dot beautiful soup of, what is the response? You need to take the response in the text format and parse the web page. That is html.parser for parsing the web page, because this is the basic function. You get the response in text format and parse the particular web page. That's it. And you read paragraph by paragraph, right? Because the web pages are in the tags. So you just make sure paragraphs is equal to html dot select of the p tag. P tag is for paragraph tag, right? So I'm just selecting only paragraphs, and I want to see entire information in my browser, in my shell. So that's where I just write in the format of a comprehension. So intro is equal to take each and every text, I dot text for I in paragraph, because we just limit it. We just need not see everything, and we'll just join the string. So we just give hello is equal to, the variable name is hello, and we just join with, so dot join of, what is our string here? Intro, where I just slice it. So for that I just give respond function. Respond of, we just want only specific characters, because we cannot read the entire web pages where we have some symbols, and our beautiful soup cannot parse completely. It can parse completely, but we can just go for JSON format. Here we are trying to make it speak, right? That is the reason we'll restrict it to only 100 characters, where you can just try it out, because it will throw you an error once you just read it. So make it to respond to less number of characters, and depending on the search factor, you can just do it. So here clearly we are making it to respond with the first 500 characters. Then automatically when I execute this, so first I'll just enable my volume so that you can hear. So I'll just run the file python va.py. When it asks me, when it shows I am listening, you should start speaking. That is the main thing you should remember. When you execute this,
Hey Saket, how are you?
open wiki,
What should I search?
Virat Kohli.
Virat Kohli.
See, it is able to speak some information. Make sure you can give anything within that. It's up to you. Once the speaking is done, it will just stop at that moment. So that is how we made it to scrape from the web also. Just make sure we are just giving a very simple thing. Once we have just given the content, whatever the words we are giving, it is able to get that information. But why can't we extend this? Why can't we make our virtual assistant to continuously communicate? There you go. It final thing is, if I tell stop talking, that is if we are having stop in data also, that should able to stop the conversation. That is where I make listening is equal to false. That is boolean. So listening is equal to false, and it should stop listening, and the result should be print listening is stopped. That is what it should throw for us. Listening is stopped, and the response is bye bye. In that way we just give it. So respond is, I just make it as see you Saket. That means this will be done when you just give stop. It will tell this thing. So when I execute this, when I just run this code,
Hey Saket, how are you?
stop talking.
See you Saket.
See, it gave you see you Saket, because listening is stopped, what I gave for print. Now I'll make my virtual assistant to continuously communicate. That's where we just need to go for exception. That's simple. You just write the exception here. Try. It should return? It should return listening every time. Every time listening is true, then it will go for it. Once when we go for exception, that is a local bound error. One, because unknown local bound error will happen when we are just trying to parse local variable which is referenced before it has been assigned. So for that reason, we'll just try to make sure this is as exception. That is the final thing. So unbound local error, so that you can make the virtual assistant to continuously communicate. And by giving it, we can also give time dot sleep. It's up to you, because if the time is out, what it should give us? It should give us timed out. That is the final thing which we are giving. Even you can make the time dot sleep, it's up to you. You can just make it how much amount of time it should wait. You can just give the same thing. Otherwise, it will finally fetch the result. That means now when we run this final piece of code, everything we can communicate. It should, if I tell send an email, it will send an email. If I tell to scrape from them, it will tell to scrape. It will start continuous conversation because we have given this exception block, because we gave try, written is listening, because in every case we gave listening is equal to true, but when I say stop, I gave listening is equal to false. That means this while loop will not be taken into consideration when we give false, because condition is not matching. Let's go for the final execution. Now when I execute this, we'll make a continuous conversation. We'll just give Python va, because first let me start with greeting, then I'll ask it how are you, then it will tell me good and doing well, then we'll ask it the time, then we'll ask it to open web page, then we'll send an email, finally we'll scrape the data. That's what we'll try to finally see. So Python va.py. Now let me execute it.
Hey Saket, how are you?
I am fine, how are you?
Good and doing well.
What is the time now?
Sunday, March 14th.
See, you said what is the time
19
now?
hours, 12 minutes and 54 seconds 2021.
So once it is asking, it is just wait for us. Again, it will tell I am listening, and then it will continuously parse, because it will just make sure that it just needs some particular time. I think I did not give the time dot sleep here. Yes, a time dot sleep, and it is timed out. Now let me see. It will fetch again. Let me try once again. See, I am listening. Send me an email. See, you said my try once again, because it is taking some time. It depends on the timed out. So now let me try once more, because it will fetch the result every time. If you are not getting it, just press Ctrl C. You can just see I gave my try once again. I am listening. It's a variable which is not assigned. No. Now let's go for the final take. Let me execute this.
Hey Saket, how are you?
I am fine. How are you?
Good and doing well.
What is the time now?
Sunday, March 14th, 19 hours, 14 minutes and 3 seconds 2021.
Okay, open Google. See,
Done.
send me an email.
Whom should I send email to?
Hello.
What is the subject?
Today we have meeting.
What should I tell that person?
Hope you attend the meeting. It's emergency.
Email sent.
Open wiki.
What should I search?
Virat Kohli.
Virat Kohli, Hindustan.
You can see the conversation is being continuing, because we gave try and exception over there, and you can just see it. Okay, stop talking.
See you, Saket.
See, that's how we made our conversation continuous. So this is how, just make sure once it gives you I am listening, then you can just see the result. And how do we just scrape the data? How do we have, once you got email sent, you can clearly see in your send box the email which I've showed you again. And I gave open wiki. Just make sure how do you scrape from the web, because that is how clearly we have given in every function. If you see the code is long, but just go piece by piece how we have described it. It all depends on how we write the function here with the condition and how we are responding, because we just made with speech recognition, where we just gave listening function, where if the words are correct, whatever we speak, the text is being printed over there, and how we are responding to with that. So that responding is saved with the speech.mp3, and for everything we just gave respond. If I ask how are you, it is telling this. If I ask what is the time, we just respond the current time. If it is opening Google, we are able to open the browser. If we are able to send an email, this particular logic is being working. And finally, when we are asking it to scrape the data, that's where Beautiful Soup is using. And if I ask finally to stop talking, it should have stop word, That's it. It automatically fetches the thing and the listening is false, and that is how we are able to see the result. And finally, we just made the conversation to be continued only when we have given this try and exception. You can make this time dot sleep so that you can give some time for our virtual assistant, and this is the first greeting you get. So this is the first greeting. Always remember, you should start talking when it says I am listening. See, that's where it is taking microphone as source. Don't speak before that. Right now, what I'll do is finally I'll just freeze all the requirements into the all the packages into the requirements.txt file, because when I give pip freeze, you see all these libraries, right? Now what I'll do is I'll just give pip freeze, I'll just send it to requirements.txt. There you go. Then in requirements.txt we have all the things. The only thing you should do is you should get this thing from the PyAudio, that is from the web, which I clearly gave you. If you follow the clear steps video by video, it is very much easier. That is how we have successfully built our first virtual assistant. The only thing we have learned new is we just worked on couple of libraries like GTTS, speech recognition, web browser, request, beautiful soup. That's where we made our conversation, where it will assist us in every moment, for sending an email, for telling the time, and for opening browser, for greeting, and for scraping data. 5 tasks it has done, and you increase the number of tasks. That's where you can make this as your permanent assistant. That's where the Siri, Alexa, and have been done, because they are treated as apps. If you can good at writing the code, you can just convert that thing into an APK file also. That's where you just build an interface. So once you understood the logic, you can just go ahead by building multiple conditions into it and make your virtual assistant to perform multiple actions. So we have successfully built our virtual assistant by making it to start the conversation, as you can extend the greetings by following the same steps. Then we have used time module to get current time, and following the same process, we have sent an email, open a web browser, and also read content from the web page. The most important thing is we have understood the importance of creating a virtual environment. You need to follow the same process to avoid conflicts with requirements while working on different packages and modules. I hope you have enjoyed watching it. If you have liked our content, please do hit like button and do subscribe to our YouTube channel for more useful content and exciting updates. If you want to learn such practical content at an affordable cost with Microsoft certification and instructor support, please register at academy.codenan.com. You can also download app from Play Store as CodeNan. Never hesitate to raise queries in the comment section, and please do reply with your suggestions for more practical videos. We will be happy to come up with it. Thank you.